Earlier this week, Liverpool staged a second-half turnaround to beat Fulham at Anfield in the first leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final tie. After a goal from William put the visitors 1-0 up before the break, there were strikes from Curtis Jones and Cody Gakpo that earned Liverpool a 2-1 lead in the first leg. But it was Virgil van Dijk who made the headlines, Cass, after a poor performance, which led to former Chelsea defender and sports bar presenter Jason Cundy making this claim.
Do you know he can do this, Van Dijk? He sometimes puts in displays where you go, that's a bit rubbish. That's a bit rubbish for someone.
The defending's terrible.
Yeah. Not only did he head the ball in a direction that you don't want to
You're not having Van Dijk, though, are you?
Personally, I think he's overrated. All right? I don't think that he's anywhere near the levels consistently of the likes of Sol Campbell, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand. I don't think he's anywhere near that level, personally. He's had, 2 good seasons? I know the injury, people will go back to the injury he picked up against Everton during COVID?
Bad injury.
It was a bad pick. It's a terrible injury. Pick for.
Yeah, but you're saying that he was doing it at Southampton and Celtic and John Terry Rio.
Well, I think that's fair.
For a long time.
Yeah, and look, there's no doubt that he's top class, but I don't think he's in that. I don't think if you put an all-time Premier League team together, he's not in that team.
Oh, Cass. Are you burning with rage as a Liverpool fan hearing that? Or do you understand what Jason's saying?
I can understand what he's saying to a degree, that sometimes I think the game's quite easy for Virgil. I think he's one of them players that's been gifted with a hell of a lot. He's quick, his stature is fantastic, he's brilliant on the ball, and I've always felt the game comes easy to him. And as a part of me, I think there's always more. But then you remind yourself, he's been at Liverpool now nearly 6 seasons in full. Mm-hmm. And he's been in the heartbeat of that team. He's always number one choice for Klopp. Klopp thinks he's as good as Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, John Terry. They're all great players. I think that he's very close to that. He had a terrible injury. There's no way you can avoid that. You know, that ACL was a bad one to get in that. And he clearly had to recover from that. He didn't look right when he came back. No. He looked like he was trying to get back into the way he was playing and looked like he was struggling to turn quite as quick. He's had a really good season this year. And yes, he makes a mistake in midweek with the goal against Fulham. That happens. But I think he's pretty close to it as being as good as them. And he hasn't finished his career yet. No. There's still more to come for Virgil van Dijk for me. Have he lifted the trophy again this year, or another Champions League? He's one hell of a player. I just think the way he plays, and you just feel it's just easy. I've played with players now, and I've felt, God, it's easy the game for them. It's not that difficult. And you feel like they're just doing enough. And actually, that's a bit unfair because they actually are putting in the max to get to be the best they can. And look, if you're number one for Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool for more than 5 years, you are one hell of a player. He's his number one centre-half, without a doubt.
In terms of then, you mentioned the injury, and we all remember the injury and how severe it was for him. If you go back to before that injury, so I feel a bit harsh to say prime Virgil van Dijk because, as you say, there's still perhaps more to come from him. Where would he get in the reckoning for one of the Premier League greats as a defender if you went back to before that injury?
Well, if you take out the obvious, what we've just mentioned, the likes of John Terry, Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, if you could probably name 5 or 6 straight out the bat, okay? If you was to say top 10, I'd say absolutely Virgil van Dijk will be in there. I think Gary Pallister's won the best. You could argue a few for Man United. Jaap Stam, they've had a few that have been in that reckoning to be top players. So I think he'd be in the top 10 without a doubt. And his career's not finished. So there's still more to come from Virgil van Dijk, I'm sure. There's a part of everybody that sometimes we get a little bit envious of players that it just seems easy to them. Rio was accused of that.
Yeah.
Rio was accused. Rio was a great centre-half. Watched him at West Ham as a kid, saw him progress in his career, and he got to Man United. He became a new player at Man United. Even though he's very gifted in his West Ham Leeds days, he become a more rounded top centre-half. But he's in that conversation, Virgil.
And I keep going back onto that injury. Obviously, that injury was huge, obviously. But you've also mentioned that he is still that number one pick for Jurgen Klopp, which tells you how important he is seen to that Liverpool side.
He's never wavered on Virgil van Dijk. He's never done that, Jurgen Klopp.
No.
He's always, if he's available, he's played a lot of football as well. He puts him in a lot of games. You see cup games and he'll chuck him in because he knows the importance. He's one of the best centre-halves ever that does the cross-field ball. You know, if you want to, ask Mo Salah, the amount of goals, the long diagonal, not many of the centre-halves that Jason mentioned could do that ball.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't help also that Liverpool's back line...
exposed to a degree.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, in terms of his partner, it chops and changes because of injuries as well. And
Matip, obviously Konate
Gomez
now.
and all sorts of have had to play in those sorts of... Yeah, exactly. So
he's definitely not... Well, I wouldn't agree with Jason. He's definitely not, for me, overrated. I don't think that.
All right, then.